Hello, everyone. This is David Ellis, and I'm here with Amy Kruzik once again. And we thought we would do a part two to what we did the last time when we were talking about the different words that people use that nobody knows what they mean. And so today, Amy has come with a list.
I have. Okay. Sacred feminine and sacred masculine.
Oh my God.
And why not?
We started out hot and heavy today, aren't we?
I know. Wait, why not add sacred sexuality into that? Let's do those three.
Okay, so the word sacred tends to suggest something that is kept in reverence.
Mhm.
Okay, so something that is kept in reverence. So something becomes sacred when it is held in high esteem or reverence. So like something along the lines of, oh, your grandmother's ashes in the urn on the closet is sacred to you. Okay. For some people, something as simple as the last Klondike bar in the fridge is my sacred space, my happy place. I think a lot of people utilize that word or overutilize that word. So, masculinity tends to suggest the things that denote the male side of the species. The trappings of masculinity could be something such as sturdiness, groundedness, strength, and those things.
Mhm.
And femininity, also groundedness, but also
Nurturing.
nurturing, and nurturing as well. There's a difference between the two. Nurturing and a certain amount of creativity goes into that as well.
Mhm.
However, when it is used in general public conversation, it is used as a kind of self-aggrandizement a lot of the times, like, I'm just being in my divine masculine today. Can't you see? While I show you my muscles, right? Or, I'm just being a divine, sacred, divine feminine when it is that, I don't know, I'm being what I consider to be feminine or whatever the case may be. I think these words are overused.
Mm-hmm.
Because ideally, the derivation of these words come from the Madonna. You remember the Madonna, right?
Oh yeah, I do. I
Right.
do.
So she would be the archetypal sacred feminine. Okay.
Yes.
For a lot of people, but for some people, she is the opposite of what that is feminine, right? Because in our concept of the word right now,
It was a freight train.
our concept of the word, in our concept of the word, it's kind of like people have changed the definitions of femininity and masculinity. So what used to be feminine is no longer seen as feminine, and what used to be masculine is not seen as masculine. But there are some old tropes that will continue to persist.
Mm-hmm.
Like masculine generally denotes an individual who is a provider,
Mm-hmm.
who is stable, who, for want of a better word, I hate to use those words, takes care of business, right? Ironically, the reason why there's been a revolution against these definitions is that women were seen as the kind of people who did not take care of business when they took care of all the business.
All the household.
Right? Right. So I think things are changing, but there's some old tropes that will persist through time, honestly speaking. If you are in your sacred masculine, you are protective, you are a provider, you are within the concept of being that person where somebody can actually rest their head. If you are in the divine feminine, theoretically based on the tropes that we have known to exist. You are nurturing, you are intuitive, you are supportive, you are, let's say, creative. Yeah. So that's what I think in terms of divine masculine and feminine. I do think that these words are overused and they're used hopelessly in the wrong way when you're talking about that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because, okay, growing up, I not on my spiritual path at the time, just more into the Catholic religion. I've never heard of this before until I started my spiritual path, sacred feminine. So, you know, I've read where we have the sacred feminine and sacred masculine inside of everyone.
Yes.
Okay. So I just grew up thinking I'm just feminine.
I think, there's a Freudian statement that people are born polymorphously perverse, which means that they could go either way. Okay. And I mean that, and when they say that, and we're going to talk about sacred sexuality here, because what does that mean? Sacred sexuality, boy, that's a loaded topic right there.
Yeah.
Fact of the matter is that sacred sexuality has nothing to do with sexual intercourse. Right. Sacred sexuality has nothing to do with sexual intercourse or your preferences. Okay? Sacred sexuality has to do with how you perceive sexuality and yourself as a sexual being. So what does that look like? It looks like that you hold that aspect of yourself and that aspect of others in reverence. Okay? So what does it not look like? It does not look like an arbitrary display of, wow, look at me, I'm such a sexual being. It generally doesn't look like that. I think a lot of people utilize sexuality as weapons. I think a lot of people utilize sexuality as control techniques. I think a lot of people utilize sexuality in the wrong way.
Manipulation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people just generally have taken the sacred out of sexuality. So now it's just sexuality and something lower than that as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, no one holds the bar high when it comes, not no one. Some people don't hold the bar high as far as their sacred sexuality.
Yes, and
right?
Part of this, out of all the things that could poison you emotionally and mentally, sexuality would be the one thing that people overlook as a toxifier. So as an example, if you are oversexed, like let's say you are a man whore, and I use that word, and we're gonna just say it out loud.
Why not?
We need to claim it. So we're gonna, if you are that kind of person and you are oversexed, I suppose there is such a thing as sacred prostitution, as an example.
Oh.
Yeah, I recently came across the term.
Wow.
Yes, the sacredness of the concubine. I knew that it existed in the Kama Sutra, but the way it is being utilized today is not the same thing. And so if you are oversexed, as an example, you tend to forget that sexuality is kind of like a battery that you have, and you're going to burn that battery out.
Okay, wait, let me just ask you something. Sacred prostitution. So even it could be I don't know what they would call it. Could be even if you have a partner, even if you're married and have a partner, or you're living with someone, you can still be a prostitute to that one person. Or are you talking men and women who go out?
That's a very good point you just made.
Yeah, because okay, go with it.
Okay, so if you married somebody for money, you're a prostitute. It doesn't matter the
Right.
piece of paper in your hand. Okay, if you marry somebody because of money, then you're a prostitute because you're exchanging services for money. The
Right.
definition of what is prostitution. I don't care if you have a marriage certificate in your hand, you are by definition a prostitute. If you are taking money from men, like whether you're on the street corner or whether you're in a house, you're taking money from men for services, sexual services, then you are a prostitute. I think where in the Kama Sutra, what made a prostitute a sacred prostitute was that they were skilled at it.
Mm.
They actually went to a school for concubines. You know, there used to be schools for that, right? They actually went to school for that, and so they were skilled at it, as opposed to I just want money, so I'll sleep with whoever will give me money. That's different.
That's different.
Hmm. There was a science to the whole prostitution thing. Now there's just yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Let's go back to
mhm.
balancing. I've heard this before. Balancing your sacred feminine with your masculine feminine.
Balancing the opposites inside yourself. Well,
Yeah.
this is the concept of the yin and yang. Okay,
Hmm.
and so it's the balance of male and female. So in schools of the mystery schools, there's a phrase that we use called essentia and contra sua. It means the essence of a thing is always in its opposite. Okay, so let's say that you're all you go out and you're the Marlboro man. That man died of cancer, just so that we're
I
clear.
know. I know. I
Okay.
know.
Let's say you're the sacred masculine type, right? And you're like, I am 100% male. Well, that's not going to work out for you very well because there are certain things in life that does not require a male approach or a masculine approach.
Right.
Absolutely not. It's kind of like, so there's a woman who's just lost a child, but you're totally in the masculine and you're like, get your bootstraps up and just walk it off, woman.
Right. Right.
Certain things in life are not going to always require that masculine approach. You are going to be very unpopular very, very quickly.
Hmm.
The same goes for the sacred feminine. If you are completely the sacred feminine and that's what you know and that's who you are, there are consequences to that. And
Uh-huh.
I say this to all the feminists out there, you're going to hate me. I'm sure underneath the comments, you're not going to roast me and stuff like that. But sacred femininity at 100% femininity is not a good thing. It really isn't. Because I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So let's use an illustration. I'm in my sacred feminine. I'm taking care of business. I am the nurturer. I am the whatever. I am this person, and you've lost identity because guess what? You are a mother and a wife, and that's who you
Hmm.
are, and that's it. That's what they're gonna put on your gravestone. She was a mother and a wife, and that's what she was, and that's all she was, and that's it. The end. Right?
Right.
So being in sacred, taking the sacred feminine construct to its like ultimate conclusion is not a good idea at all. What's next on the list, Amy?
Not a good idea. Okay. Let's talk about the twin flame, which kind of, you know.
Oh, you really brought it out today.
Well, yeah, or my soulmate.
Okay.
Yeah. That soulmate, twin flame.
Hmm. You know how many soulmates have gotten divorced?
I know. I know.
Sorry.
I know.
I mean, I'm really enjoying this show. You know how many soulmates have gotten divorced? Well, if that was your soulmate, probably y'all would have worked things out. I think people use, when you say soul, the word soul, by definition, tends to suggest that which is deeper and unseen.
Hmm.
Somebody that you, I'm going to use those words, resonate with.
I
someone
know.
that's on your frequency, someone that is whatever. I look, we are all born polymorphously perverse. There are some times, however, that you meet someone who is so in tune with yourself that you say that person is your soulmate.
Mm.
And people find out the hard way that come live with me
Hmm.
and come see me are two different things. So I have had a lot of soulmates in my office over the years, counseling them. Okay. Now, your soulmate does not necessarily only apply when it is that you are in a uh,
Relationship.
relationship.
Yeah.
Your soulmate could be someone that you meet on the streets and so on. A lot of people make that mistake.
Yeah. You know what? It's almost like when you lock eyes with somebody. It's like, I know you.
Correct. And by
Yeah.
the way, we're all soulmates, just so that we're clear.
Okay. Yeah. Let's.
Listen, if we're occupying this space together and you believe that you have a soul or you may not believe that you have a soul, we're all soulmates. It just requires the adjustment. So a lot of people get married and they do something called settling. I didn't
Oh,
find my soulmate because, I was searching for the last 49 years, but, I'll just settle for somebody else. And once you have that mindset and you get into a relationship, then that relationship is doomed to failure. Trust me when I tell you that.
it's almost like don't even bring those words into your mind because you can just say, I enjoy being with this person. What if it's just as simple as that? Letting it just go instead of defining it like you are my soulmate. You are my twin flame.
Yeah.
It sounds so much easier to me to to get into a relationship that way.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's my
I think the whole twin flame thing, it sounds corny.
yeah. What do they burn them? Do they, do the twin flames come together as one? Is that maybe what it is? Uh, because actually, when I was married in the Catholic Church, right? So David, my husband, and I, we had to go to the unity candle or one candle and light that flame. I know it sounds corny, but at the time it was kind of beautiful, right? They didn't call it a twin flame.
Okay. Honestly, I think people tend to twin flame means what? You are synchronous with the partner and the flame that burns inside of you are the same kind of flame. Okay,
Oh,
I get it. Um,
yeah.
Honestly speaking, the chances of you meeting your twin flame in today's world, 2024, is probably severely reduced because if you are on social media and
Mm.
you are one on, let's say you put yourself on a dating app, which we got to do a show about by
Oh,
let's say you put yourself on a dating app. Yeah, the possibility of you meeting your twin flame is severely reduced than organically speaking, because
ye-
if you say the words twin flame, I assume you subscribe to some sort of spiritual outlook, and spirit works in mysterious ways. But one of the ways it tends to have a little bit of difficulty working is on social media.
is exactly.
Is on
That's
social media. So
that's so true, and that's why you bring back the old-fashioned kind of ways. There's nothing wrong with that.
the problem is that, Amy, I think once again I refer to the last few um, years where people couldn't gather and people are
Mhm.
still not gathering, even
No.
people haven't gotten. So it's hard to actually meet people. I think a lot of people resort to social media or those dating apps specifically because they want to, they've gotten desperate. Okay? People are lonely.
Yep.
So that's basically what.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother show too, right?
Correct.
Social media. What
Mm-hmm.
is it good for? What is it good for?
What was the next one on the list?
Okay. Oh, you are my rock and you complete me. You Complete Me is from the movie Jerry Maguire, in case you've never watched it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched that
You
movie.
would have watched that one.
No, I wouldn't have watched that one.
It's a good one. It's a
Yeah,
good
I tend because I've been a counselor for many years. I'm not watching any more dramas on TV. Hell no. Okay, so here's
Oh
here's
my
the
god.
thing, right? Here's the thing. You are my rock. I assume that is a reference to people being your grounding stone, so to
Mhm.
speak, your thing that is the immovable object in your life.
Mhm.
Small problem. Your rock has a personality and wants and desires of its own, and if it decides to leave you, then you have no rock.
Well, that's true. But a lot of people use it as a God too. God is my rock. Jesus is my rock.
Oh,
Right.
okay,
Have you not heard that?
okay.
So what is that one?
I always wonder. I always wonder about that, and I'm going to have an argument with the Christians that are out there. If Jesus is your rock, did you ask him whether he wanted to be that thing or not? Like, what you mean is the concept of Jesus in your mind becomes your rock.
Mhm.
The concept of Jesus and holiness becomes your rock. That's what you mean. You don't mean Jesus becomes your
Is
rock.
my rock.
Yeah, because you got crucified by people like you. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I think that's a bit of an issue. And I think people always overestimate their strength in terms of who they are.
Mhm.
Okay? You want to know who should be your rock? You should
Mhm.
be your rock.
I was just gonna say, if you make somebody your rock, you're saying, "Oh, I don't need to take any personal responsibility," right? Savior complex, kind of, because you're my rock, and I can go to you anytime, and you can do things. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, remove all people use their therapists and their doctors as
Yeah,
their rock as
as a
well.
rock.
I am
Yeah.
like, no, listen, I have been a clinician for many, many years. And I can pretty much tell you that no clinician, doctor, therapist, massage therapist, whatever else, can be your rock. They can't. You got to be
Mm-mm.
the rock. You have to be your rock. You have to be that person that is the rock for yourself. If you are not that person, then do not blame the therapist when that
Mm-mm.
therapist moves to another province, as an example.
Mhm. Yes.
And then you
Yeah.
have the rock, and then you fall into some sort of depression.
Right. Okay, so then that's the other part of you complete me.
Oh
So
God.
you're saying that the gaps that I have that I can't see, you're completing them. Well, why not turn it inward and look at those? Nobody has to complete you. You already complete.
Can you imagine a bunch of people walking around halfway? This
Halfway.
half, but like imagine turn everybody that you know into a little pie chart,
Yes.
and only half of it is walking around looking for the other half to complete them.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that is such a, like, I don't know who came up with this concept, right? Or when somebody says, this is my better half,
Oh my
what
gosh.
does that mean? I mean, like, okay, this
Better.
is your better half.
He's better than me.
Mm,
She's better than me.
yeah, this is your better half. So the person I was dealing with before was the bad half.
Wasn't that?
Okay,
Oh my
so I'll
God.
just deal with this person now and ignore you because who was the bad half? I don't
Right.
I don't think people when they use these terms they mean it to be complimentary to their
They
partner.
do. They do. But also, I want to say that parents use their kids to complete them.
Mm,
Yeah, they do.
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
As a preschool teacher, I saw it.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to go. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Whew.
You complete me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why?
Why do they do that with their kids?
Yes, I think
It's
a lot of people fall into the habit of living vicariously through their
yeah,
kids.
that's
And
exactly what it
so
is.
all the things that they couldn't do, they put their kids to go do.
Right. Oh, they couldn't get into a certain college, a Yale, a Ivy League. So, okay, you're going to do it now. Whatever. I
That's a
mean,
lot of pressure. That is a lot of pressure on children.
it is a lot of pressure, right? Like you're going to be a medical doctor because your grandfather was one. I don't know, you know?
Yes, and it's up to they don't realize that the children will hit 18 and they can choose for themselves. And
Yeah.
when they don't choose what the parents want, they become a disappointment, and that's another whole other show that we,
That's a whole other show.
yeah. What's next on the list?
Okay. What about affirmations?
Today I shall be the most awesomest person I have ever met in my life. Okay, when you make an affirmation, it has to be realistic.
Yeah.
Oh, so if you are the kind of person that makes affirmations that are wishful thinking and they don't come true, affirmations are like messages to your mind, kind of like this mudra, right? It's a message to
Mm,
your mind that says, I am changing my reality. If you're going to change your reality and manifest a different reality in mind and whatever else, it has to be successful for it to be, it has a cumulative effect. So, as an example, I say to myself, today, for the first half of today, I will not cuss. Realistic goal, right? It is a
yeah.
realistic goal.
Right.
At 12 o'clock, by 12 o'clock, I'm not going to say a bad word until 12 o'clock.
Right.
Okay, realistic. So when I reach 12 o'clock and I haven't said a bad word, yes, I'm a little bit stronger because of it.
Yeah, I think
So if you try that in reverse and you say, today, from now until 12 o'clock, I am not going to eat Pringles, and you've been eating Pringles steadily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You even have that. You have that as a dip. You have that boiled Pringles.
God.
Like if you are that kind of person and you say that you're not going to eat Pringles by midday, and by 10 o'clock you're eating Pringles, it weakens you. It weakens you mentally. Make realistic affirmations. Stick to them.
Okay, so I agree that you have to be accountable to them. Make it a reachable goal, right?
Okay, can you imagine a soldier in Vietnam in 1960, whatever, saying, I affirm today that I will not get shot. You're on a battlefield. The chances of you getting shot is very high, right?
Yes,
If
yes.
you get shot and you're like, oh, these affirmations do not work. That's what the message is sent to your mind.
Okay, so I'm going to give you some affirmations here. I found these in a book. Um, and they could be kind of spiritually woo woo, kind of like, that. I want you to I want you I want you to see after talking about what you just did. Okay. We can be together without losing ourselves in each other.
Oh, that's really, 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 really nice. That's affirming that you won't be codependent on somebody else, right?
Uh-huh.
Maintaining your individuality. Here's the small problem with that, okay? That sounds pretty
Yeah.
until you get into a marriage situation and you realize that you want this person to like the things that you like, and you want that person, and you're trying to like the things that that person likes, okay? That would be losing part of yourself and gaining part of yourself as well, right? Gaining
Yes.
self. So the affirmation sounds pretty, but in reality, it doesn't exactly work well. If you're going to be living with somebody, as an
Yeah.
example, let's say you and I live together, right?
Yeah.
And I say, I'm going to keep the toilet seat up because it's just convenient for me. You wake up at 2 o'clock, you go use the bathroom, you sit down on the cold ceramic. You sit down on the cold ceramic.
I fall in, you're saying. I fall in.
Right? You sit down on the cold ceramic and it's like it's not cool, so you're upset. So now I change because now I'm gonna put the toilet seat down to stop you from falling.
Or get an automatic one that goes down.
So I change for you. I have changed part of myself. So I've lost the toilet seat up guy
Mm-hmm.
because I am in a state of compromise with you. So the
Mm-hmm.
affirmation sounds fine, but in
And
reality, it doesn't work that way.
yeah, that would be okay, here's another one.
Go ahead.
I'll do one more if you um okay. I give up all these negative feelings that once seemed to protect me from being abused or abandoned.
Oh, what does yo? If you okay, so what? Your mind is a very simple device. You may think that you are complicated. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's complicated." No, usually things are not complicated. Things are very simple. You have negative thoughts to protect you. They're actually necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You also have positive thoughts to protect you, and they are necessary. Okay? The light does not know light until it knows darkness. That is the truth of the matter. Okay?
Right? Oh, that's so
You
true.
release all these negative thoughts that once protected you. So I'm going to assume that if you see a sign that says danger, hazard, poisonous gas, it's just negative thoughts.
Wait.
The skull and crossbones in your head is a negative thought. Okay?
Yeah.
Sign is universally the sign for toxicity. Okay? So another, I suspect when some people say that, they mean like things that are like,
I'm not worthy. That
yeah, I'm not worthy.
I'm not worthy. That would be a negative thought.
I'm going to go against the grain here, and
Yeah.
I'm going to be controversial right about now.
Yeah.
If you ever thought that I'm not worthy, it's because a lot of the times people tell you that I'm not worthy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ever thought that I'm not worthy because you have made a legitimate assessment of yourself that says I am not worthy, then you're not worthy. As an
Mm-hmm.
example, you get called to the Olympics. Okay?
Okay.
Amy, you get called to the Olympics, and Amy, your event is the high jump.
Oh, that would be the
You
Special
get called, I
Olympics?
don't care. You get called to the Olympics, your event is now the high jump. Amy, you are competing and you are representing the United States in the high jump. Are you worthy?
No, I'm not. My legs are too short.
You are. You see, that is a legitimate assessment of your capacity and your ability. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Now, are you worthy to be a talk show host? Are you worthy to be a
Mm.
podcaster? Yes.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
a legitimate, right? When people say that, I think they mean like the negative thoughts that are endemic, such as I'm not worthy to be a good person or whatever else. which obviously does not actually pan out in real life, because you are worthy if it is that you are trying as much as possible within yourself to become a worthy person, as opposed to an Olympic high jump. I jump
I
on.
know. That's what I mean. These affirmations, you can say them and say them and say them, but until you understand how to change
Mm-hmm.
them, it's you're just, I don't know, it's really not working,
Point.
right? I mean, all right, that was a good one to do that. Okay, let's talk about
Mm-hmm.
mindfulness and possibly balance. Be
Okay.
mindful. Be mindful of your words.
Or your mind could be full
Mm.
of what mindfulness means.
Mindlessness.
When you say something is mindful, that is you are mindful when you are aware of how your presence, your existence impacts things around you. Okay? So, a Zen master, let me ask you a question, Amy.
Yeah,
Where is your husband's left brown leather shoe?
in the closet.
What shoe is it next to?
His other brown shoes.
Now you see that's not mindfulness right there, Amy. You should have been able to just recollect that, because you're mindful, you're observant, you're aware.
hmm
That's what mindfulness theoretically means, right?
Mm.
You're aware of how your existence and everything about you impacts the environment around you, and so on. And you're also aware of your thoughts internally and your spiritual nature and your proclivities and so on.
hmm
Mindfulness. However, what it doesn't mean is sitting down, looking dumb, saying, I'm being mindful right now. I'm just doing a check in with myself to see how I feel about mindfulness. Okay? So you sit down and you're making a display of mindfulness. That is not mindfulness.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely is. You could be mindful while doing normal everyday chores, sweeping the house or whatever. It's not some weird practice.
It really isn't.
Breathe. No.
But you know what's funny is teachers use this word on young kids and they have no idea what they're talking about. Like, be mindful in the way you approach your friend. You know, be mindful in the classroom. You know,
It's what these. That's one of the tricky words, huh?
it
Because
is very tricky.
it's not only children that don't know what that means. Adults don't know what that
No,
means.
I know. I just had to give that example because I've heard it before in classrooms.
And you're looking at the child with a blank look on its face, all right? Like,
He's like, What? I'm not sure what that means."
okay,
I
that's
know.
that's actually quite funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny,
Mind,
not funny.
and mindfulness meditation, that seems like a redundant term.
Yes.
Meditating, you are being mindful. Absolutely. There's no meditation without mindfulness. That is a redundant term.
And I think mindfulness too is just your inner thoughts and what you want to do with them. You can't tell someone else to be mindful because I think that mindfulness is just for you. I'm going to be mindful today about my words. I'm not going to, you know, talk bad to the kids. Say something, that hurts them.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think it's more you're mindful. Don't worry about anybody else being mindful.
Correct. Because you could be mindful of what's happening inside of you,
hmm
but as soon as you start processing what other people are doing, you've come out of mindfulness
Yeah.
because you're not being aware of how you are feeling.
Right. And you're displacing it onto them.
Correct. Projection. Correct.
Yeah. 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 So,
And as for balance, oh, that's a very
whew, well, did we balance our feminine and masculine today, guys?
What is balance? Balance is
Balance beam.
yeah, because it conjures images of a gymnast on a teeter tottering and so on. But
Yes.
I think balance is a very difficult state to achieve. And a lot of people say, well, I'm balanced. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, you're not. We are never balanced. The point of our existence is that sometimes things veer to the left, sometimes things veer to the right. To say somebody is holistically balanced, you mean that's a temporary state.
It is temporary.
Because I can guarantee you, I could be balanced right now, and if I step outside my door and I step into traffic, that balance will shift real quick.
Yes.
So,
And what about, okay, well, let me just give you this little thing that I used to do as a kid with my brother. We would have those old fashioned teeter totters, right? And we would try to balance it. That was hard to do. We could do it for like a second.
correct.
It
And
was like,
that's,
oh, we did it. We did it. And then, one of us would go down.
yeah, but I think a lot of people try to chase balance. Balance is
Oh,
something that that will happen temporarily. I wouldn't suggest that you spend 100% of your time trying to chase balance. I would suggest that you try to chase contentment and happiness instead.
right.
Okay?
Right.
Because there's no balance in contentment. That is actually an unbalanced state. If you are happy, that is an unbalanced state.
Say that again. Come on.
If you are happy, it is
Yeah.
an unbalanced state. If you are unhappy, it's an unbalanced state. A lot of people don't seem to understand this, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
Right. So let's put it this way: if you are completely happy, right? Too much of a good thing is always a bad thing. Let me show you an illustration.
Okay.
Let's say you're the kind of person who met your childhood sweetheart and you got married to that person.
Okay.
Let's say you're the kind of person that met your childhood sweetheart and you got married to that person. You have lived in marriage bliss since years and years and years. Let's
Yes.
say you are the kind of person who doesn't have a financial care in the world or whatever else. You are in your own mind balanced, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
However, what's unbalanced is your awareness of suffering. You see the difference, right?
Yes.
What's unbalanced is your awareness of suffering. So your emotional intelligence could suffer as a result of it. So let's say you go to a country club party,
Yeah.
and there is that one person out there who's being abused by their partner,
Yeah.
who's being messed up, and you're like, oh, and my husband did this and he does that and he's so perfect and he took out the garbage and he fixed the porch and everything else, and while the other person is looking at you like abused victim here, abused victim,
Yeah.
right? And so your emotional intelligence can be so are you balanced in that event? Because your emotional intelligence is not balanced, so you're not completely
No,
balanced. You see the difference?
I do. Oh, that is so true.
Or you could be the kind of person that would say, yeah, well, screw what the other person thinks, right? I know my life is perfect, right? And then
Yeah.
you're not balanced because internally, as an individual, you lack empathy and therefore you're unbalanced that way as well.
Yeah.
You guys listening to all the stuff that we've said, I think we've come to the end of our show.
Yeah.
It's about that time. But if you guys are agreeing with us, if you are disagreeing with us, be sure to let us know in the comments below, because We would love to hear your take on this.
We would love it. I love having that kind of talk where it's like your point of view, my point of view, right?
Correct. If you disagree with us vehemently,
We love it.
please let us know. We love that stuff.
Yeah.
So, guys, we will see you in the next show. Amy, please give these people a way to get a hold of you.
Oh, well, you can get a hold of me at UCM Community at community.universalcitizentv.com. Come join the community over there. We're starting some new things. We have free resources. We have, oh, what else do we have? Live certified courses. We have a software program, tools, AI tools, right? David's the expert in that. And you can email me at pinkmoonlodgepodcast@gmail.com.
And you can get a hold of me at info@unifiedhealthsystems.com. I do DNA testing, counseling, nutrition counseling as well. And yeah, guys, watch out for our next release. We'll be on Instagram and we will be on Facebook. And we hope to see you guys real soon. Take care.
Bye.